1. Guilt tripping. This is a common one. You've been buried in work all week and haven't texted much. When you finally call your partner, instead of, "Hey, I missed you," you get, "I guess you're too busy for me now. Don't worry. I'll just sit here alone." Boom! A guilt trip. Instead of simply saying how they feel, they drop a heavy guilt bomb right on your lap. Now you feel like the world's worst partner, even though you didn't do anything wrong. At its core, guilt tripping is emotional blackmail. It works because most of us hate letting people down. We want to fix things, even when it's not our responsibility. So instead of addressing their actual need, you're manipulated into scrambling to make it up to them. How to outsmart it. When you sense a guilt trip, separate your responsibility from their feelings. You can respond with empathy. "I understand you felt lonely," without accepting false blame. Healthy relationships talk about needs, not guilt. 2. Silent treatment. Now picture this. You and your partner disagree over something small like which restaurant to eat at. It's not even a fight, just a normal difference of opinion. But instead of talking it out, they go silent. No calls, no texts, no responses. It feels like they vanished into thin air. This is the silent treatment. It's not just someone needing space, it's a weapon. It makes you panic. Did I do something wrong? Should I apologize? You start feeling invisible, desperate, and willing to do anything just to break the silence. Why does it work? Because humans are wired for connection. When that connection gets cut off, especially by someone close, our brains sound the alarm. We chase, we beg, we fold, which is exactly what the manipulator wants. The way to outsmart this? The trick is not to give silence all the power. Instead of chasing them, acknowledge it calmly. "I'm ready to talk when you are, but ignoring me isn't okay." This shifts the control back to you. 3. Gaslighting. Imagine this. One night, you're sitting with your partner planning the weekend. You both agree to go to a friend's barbecue on Saturday. You're even excited about it. Saturday morning rolls around, and when you bring it up, they look at you with a straight face and say, "We never agreed to that." You're making things up. At first, you laugh it off, thinking maybe you misremembered. But it keeps happening, little things, then bigger ones. They tell you, "You're too sensitive," or "You're crazy, that never happened." Before you know it, you're second-guessing your memory, your judgment, even your sanity. That's gaslighting, a psychological mind game where someone tries to rewrite your reality. The term actually comes from a 1938 play called Gaslight, where a husband dims the lights in their home, then denies anything changed. His wife starts doubting her own eyes. That's exactly what happens in relationships. The manipulator chips away at your confidence, little by little, until you start trusting their version of reality more than your own. How to outsmart it. Keep evidence when you can. Texts, notes, receipts. Not because you need to prove it to them, but to remind yourself that your memory is real. And most importantly, trust your gut. If your reality feels solid, but they're trying to erase it, that's a red flag. 4. Love bombing. At first, love bombing feels like winning the lottery. Day 1, roses. Day 2, surprise gifts. Day 3, "I've never met anyone like you." It's like living inside a Disney romance, but here's the catch. It's not about love, it's about control. By overwhelming you with affection, gifts, and praise, manipulators create an emotional high. You get hooked on the attention like it's candy or morning coffee. Soon you're craving it. And then they pull back. The compliments slow down. The texts get shorter. You're left confused, chasing that original high, wondering what you did wrong. That's the trap. By the time they withdraw, you're already emotionally dependent. It happens in toxic relationships, the hook before the control. The best defense? Real love grows steadily. If someone rushes intimacy too fast, talking about marriage after 2 weeks, or showering you with gifts before trust is built, pump the brakes. Watch for consistency over time, not just intensity up front. 5. Triangulation. Now imagine this. You and your partner have a disagreement. Instead of working it out with you, they bring in a third person, maybe a friend, maybe their mom, maybe even a coworker. Suddenly, you're not just in a conversation, you're in a triangle. Triangulation is when manipulators pull in a third party to gain power. It turns a simple two-person discussion into an unfair game of emotional tug-of-war. Instead of you versus me, it becomes you versus me plus my backup singer. For example, a partner might say, "Even my mom thinks you're overreacting." Or a boss might give one employee special treatment just to spark jealousy in the rest. It creates competition, divides people, and keeps the manipulator in control at the top of the triangle. How to outsmart it. Refuse to fight against the third person. Say, "This is between you and me, let's not involve others." This takes away their weapon and forces them to face you directly. 6. Projection. Here's a classic manipulator's trick. It's when they take their own flaws, insecurities, or bad behavior and stick it onto you like a sticky note. Imagine this. They're secretly being dishonest. Instead of admitting it, they accuse you of lying. They're the ones being selfish, but suddenly you're the one who's selfish and cold. It works because it flips the script. You go from noticing their problem to defending yourself against an attack. And while you're busy proving you're not guilty, the real issue gets buried. Psychologists say projection is one of the most common defense mechanisms. Manipulators just weaponize it. How do you outsmart it? Instead of playing defense, pause. Ask yourself, is this really about me or is this about them? 9 times out of 10, their accusation is a confession in disguise. 7. Blame shifting. Blame shifting is projection's sneaky cousin. This is when a manipulator refuses to take responsibility no matter what. Picture this. You catch them texting someone inappropriately. Instead of owning it, they flip the spotlight. Well, if you gave me more attention, I wouldn't have to. Suddenly, you're on trial for their mistake. It's a mental ping-pong game. You serve the truth and they smash it back with guilt. And before you know it, you're apologizing for something they did. Blame shifting is exhausting because it turns every argument into a maze. No matter how clear the facts are, they twist the path until you doubt yourself. The escape route? Refuse to play in the maze. Stick to the original issue, calmly and firmly. We're not talking about me right now. We're talking about what you did. The moment you stop chasing their detours, the manipulation loses power. 8. Playing the victim. This one's a masterclass in emotional manipulation. Playing the victim. It goes like this. Every problem, every fight, somehow leaves them as the one who's hurt the most. They forget your feelings, your struggles. Everything gets rewritten so that they're the poor, misunderstood one. You bring up how they embarrassed you in front of friends. Instead of apologizing, they tear up. Why are you always attacking me? I can't do anything right, can I? Now you're comforting them when 5 seconds ago you were the one hurting. The psychology behind this? It taps straight into empathy. Most decent people hate seeing someone cry or act wounded. Manipulators exploit that kindness, turning compassion into a leash. To outsmart it, you've got to recognize the pattern. True victims take responsibility for their part in conflicts. Manipulators never do. So, when the tears flow or the poor me act begins, remind yourself, feelings can be real, but they don't erase action. 9. Breadcrumbing. Imagine this. Your partner texts you just enough to keep you hooked. Flirty messages, small compliments. You feel excited, but the attention is never consistent. That's breadcrumbing, giving tiny doses of affection to keep you interested without committing. Why it works? Humans crave connection, so even small gestures feel rewarding. Before you know it, you're waiting for the next message, analyzing every word, hoping for more. It's emotional manipulation that keeps you invested while giving nothing substantial in return. How to outsmart it? Pay attention to patterns, not moments. If someone isn't showing steady effort or clear interest, step back. Real relationships give consistent care, not crumbs. Protect your time, energy, and heart. Don't chase someone else's breadcrumbs. 10. Mirroring for manipulation. Now, mirroring can be a good thing in healthy relationships. It's that natural copying of body language or speech that builds connection. But manipulators? They use it like a magic trick. They mirror everything about you. Your hobbies, your opinions, even the way you laugh. If you love hiking, suddenly they're an outdoors person. If you say your dream is to start a business, they're already thinking the same thing. It feels amazing, like you've finally met your twin soul, but that's the trap. By mirroring you, they make you lower your guard. You feel deeply understood when really you're being studied. Later, once you're hooked, that mirroring disappears. Their real personality surfaces, and you're left confused, wondering where that perfect match went. The psychology behind this? It's called strategic empathy. They're not connecting because they care, but because they know the fastest way to earn your trust is to become your reflection. To outsmart it, slow down with new relationships. Don't mistake instant chemistry for true compatibility. Real connection takes time to prove itself. Watch for inconsistencies, and remember, someone who's real won't need to copy you to connect. And that's it. Every mind game manipulators play in relationships, and how you can outsmart them. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you haven't seen it yet, check out my previous video, Every Childhood Lies That Are Still Fooling Adults. You'll be surprised at how many of those myths you still believe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.